What is happening, you guys? This is Joseph Conlon coming to you with your AEW Dynamite review on Wednesday, September 30th, 2020. We are here tonight to talk about tonight's AEW Dynamite episode. This was a taped show from Jacksonville, Florida, and it was a very good episode of Dynamite. The first hour, I thought, was freaking excellent. We got Darby Allin and Ricky Starks to start the show, going into the Cody promo about Brodie Lee, FTR versus SCU, which was the match of the night, man. That was amazing tag team wrestling. And then we got Chris Jericho versus Isaiah Cassidy. Second hour, at times, I had a hard time getting into it. I don't think the match order of this card tonight wasn't the best, but it was still a very good show. And we'll talk about it here on the channel tonight. Thank you guys for joining me here tonight on the channel. We got a busy week coming up this week, which we'll get to once the review is over. But before we talk about the review, if you guys have not already, still go check out my Clash of Champions review from Sunday night, my Monday Night Raw review from Monday night, and then my NFL Week 4 predictions from yesterday. So if you have not already, go and check this out. Check all those three videos out. Without further ado, let's get started talking about AEW Dynamite, which started off with Darby Allin versus Ricky Starks, a rivalry that's been going on for 2 months now. They finally came to a conclusion tonight on Dynamite. This felt like a match that should have been on pay-per-view. I'm gonna be honest here. This match should have either been happening on the anniversary show or at Full Gear, because they dropped the ball with it at All Out, and they were both in the Battle Royal. Yes, they put on a really good match to start that show. That match was really damn good. But this match kind of had a pay-per-view feel to it, and I think this should have been on either the anniversary show in 2 weeks or the Full Gear. So we got Ricky Starks and Darby Allin. This match went 12 minutes. This was really good stuff, man. This was a really good tag team match. Not tag team, singles match that opened up the show. 12 minutes, very high flying. Darby Allin, the guy's relentless and will be a future world champion. Ricky Starks just got to the company, and I already love Ricky Starks. I think Ricky Starks is going to be big in the future for AEW, and he will be a TNT champion, hopefully sooner rather than later. Darby Allin needed this victory more than Ricky Starks did, in my opinion. And Darby Allin did get the win when they were both on the top rope. Darby knocked Ricky down. Darby hit the coffin drop onto Ricky's back, and then Darby Allin got the victory 1, 2, 3 over Ricky Starks. So that feels like the end of this feud between Darby Allin and Ricky Starks. It was a good feud, very personal. It felt very personal, and I felt like they were setting up for Darby Allin versus Brian Cage, but at the end of the day, I'm more happy that they went with Ricky Starks over Darby Allin, over Brian Cage, because you could tell in this match these two had great chemistry together, and they knew what the hell they were doing. So Darby Allin got the victory. Next, we got Cody cutting a promo, and Dasha Gonzalez was in the ring, and she was constructing the interview. She was like, "Cody, welcome back." Cody was like, "It's been a hard month and a half to think about what's transpired. And with 1 year of Dynamite coming up, we built this place from the bottom to the top, and then we shake hands pre-pandemic. We shake hands with each other a lot and show respect and show that we appreciate each other and show that we're good friends. But to him, that's not why they shake hands. They shake hands because they need each other. They need each other. They grasp for each other. They help each other through every step of the way. And without the person next to you, who are you? So then Cody got he got the call from a 322 number, and it was Hollywood, to get on a TV show. And he realized he was standing next to, he said Snoop Dogg or something like that. Snoop Dogg was there. The other two names I did not get. But Cody got that Hollywood call, and he was like, who am I that I get to sit with these great people? I lost in 3 minutes for the TNT Championship. And right now there's only 3 wrestlers that get to call themselves a champion in AEW. That's the Women's Champion Hikaru Shida, the Fighting World Champion Jon Moxley, and he calls himself the Ace Champion Brodie Lee. So he called himself the Ace Champion. Then Dash was like, well, do you accept this dog collar challenge laid down by Mr.Brodie last week? And Cody said no. He said no, and then he walked back. He came back in the ring. He was like, no, as in no regrets, no mistakes. I'm going into next week. I'm going to kick Brodie Lee's ass, and I'm going to win the TNT Championship in this dog collar match. Then Brodie Lee and the Dark Order came out. You knew where this was going. All the wrestlers who were on the barricade came in to break this up. And some people said it was a very good brawl. I said it was a kind of like a WWE-esque type feel, like a main roster-ish type brawl. But at the end of it, I see where the people are coming from. So I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Say this was a good brawl. It made sense because Cody Lee, Brodie Lee and Cody have a very personal feud ever since Brodie defeated Cody in 3 minutes. So that was that. Good brawl. Awesome segment. And the dog collar match is happening next week. Now, I don't know why it's happening next week and not at Full Gear, but I have my thoughts. Some people on Twitter were pitching that we could see the Nightmare Family versus the Dark Order in Blood and Guts. Now, there's a report today that said that Matt Cardona is no longer working, or he's no longer in a short deal with AEW. So once again, he's a free agent. I don't know who you could put on the side of the Nightmare Family unless it's going to be just Brodie Lee, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson versus Cody and the Natural Nightmares in Blood and Guts. I feel like you have to have more. That's me. But, hey man, we got our Blood and Guts match canceled a few months ago. And this feud between the Nightmare Family and the Dark Order, if they were to go into Blood and Guts and have this match at Full Gear, I'm going to give it a thumbs up and I'm going to give it a go because it makes absolutely 100% sense. It makes sense. So, very good, awesome segment actually. And we're getting this dog collar match next week for the TNT Championship. Who do I think should win this match? Brodie Lee. Brodie Lee should win this match. I don't think you can stop his momentum. It's like, are you really just going to have Cody come back, have this match with Brodie Lee, and just have him take the championship off of him next week? I'll tell you what, I love Cody, I love Brodie. But if next week, if they were to give Cody the TNT Championship right back after Brodie had like a month and a half reign, okay? If that happens, I will give the criticism that it deserves if Cody wins the TNT Championship match. I love Cody, but Brodie Lee really needs to win this match next week. FTR, Dax Harwood and Kat Schuyler versus Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian of SCU. I got three words for you, folks. Tag team wrestling. Tag team wrestling. Matches like this are why AEW is at the top of their game on tag team wrestling. This was a 15-minute clinic put on by FTR and SCU for the tag team titles. They had a match earlier in June, and that match was fantastic. I felt like this match was better. This match was better than the last match. We had tons of near falls. SCU, my boys, almost came up with that victory and regained the AEW tag team titles that they had this time last year. And the finish came where Scorpio was trying to lift Dax up. Dax fell on the Scorpio Sky. Tully Blanchard held the boot of Scorpio Sky with Dax pulling Tully Blanchard back. And FTR retained the tag team titles. This was excellent. This was an excellent tag team match between these two teams. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. FTR retained the tag team titles over SCU. Very good match. I wish if there was one match I could take notes on, it would absolutely be this match so that I could tell you like the stuff they did because it was pretty damn good, man. You got to go watch that match for yourself. It was freaking amazing. Amazing. We got Chris Jericho versus Isaiah Cassidy. This was also a good match as well. A good match between Jericho and Isaiah Cassidy. Jericho won this match, as we all knew. It was expected. But, you know, Jericho made Cassidy look very good. And it got him over. It basically got Private Party over. Because Mark Quinn, just having him be out there supporting his partner, that got him over as well, too, in my opinion. The Private Party have really been getting over. Maybe AEW, you know, tries to get them in the that upper mid-card level in the tag team division. It's crazy that AEW has so many tag teams that you could say, okay, you have a main event scene for the tag team division, a mid-card scene, and a lower card scene for the tag team division. It's absolutely insane, man. It's insane how good the AEW tag team division really is. It's absolutely insane. But Jericho got the win after Cassidy jumped off the top rope and got knocked out with a Judas effect. Then afterwards, Jericho and the Inner Circle attacked Cassidy. The brawl went to the outside. Then all of a sudden, Luther and Serpentico, they decided to get involved with it. No idea why. And it set up a match next week between Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Serpentico and Luther. It's a match that I'm not really interested in whatsoever. Next week is the Chris Jericho 30-year anniversary show. I feel like next week, they're stacking next week up. And then the following week, there's the AEW DYNAMITE 1-year anniversary show. So next week, or these next 2 weeks, they're really stacking it up. And it feels like they have like a night 1 Fighter Fest and a night 2 Fighter Fest. It feels like they have a night 1 anniversary show and a night 2 anniversary show. The first night is going to be Chris Jericho's 30-year anniversary. And night 2 is going to be the AEW DYNAMITE anniversary. So it's looking really damn good, man. Looking really good. Orange Cassidy versus 10. This match went about 8 minutes. Cassidy, of course, got the win with the Orange Punch. John Silver and Orange Cassidy doing some comedic stuff outside the ring during the match. The Dark Order gave their own hug with Angels and John Silver. Stu Grayson is back. He wasn't there last week. Alex Reynolds is still not there. And there's reports that AEW got multiple COVID tests that tested positive. So Alex Reynolds could be one of those guys. Hopefully it's a speedy recovery for Alex Reynolds and the Dark Order. But, I mean, this was nothing special, really. Cassidy got the win in 8 minutes. And that was all. That was all. We got Britt Baker back in action. Britt Baker versus the Red Velvet. 7 minutes. This was okay. This was decent for what it was. Britt Baker looks better. I could tell she is training with Mr. Adam Cole. Baby. She is training with Adam Cole while in her recovery and her way back to the ring. It's the first time we've seen her since the Tooth and Nail match with Big Swole. And I think you could tell she's gotten better. Her strikes are more stiff. Her strikes look really good. It doesn't look like she's moving slow in the ring or she's green in the ring. She actually kept up with the pace. Now, credit, I really have not watched much of Red Velvet. I know she's been on AEW Dark. I have not watched that show in the past couple weeks. But Britt Baker, she was green before she got injured tonight. She looked much better than usual. And Baker got the win. And then after the match, she applied the lockjaw in on the Red Velvet. I still think that she's still feuding with Big Swole. That's what I want to think. Because they haven't had their one-on-one match. But if they're not, I mean, is she already going to come back and face Shida for the Women's Championship? We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. That's eventually going to happen down the road. And she is eventually, whether it's at Full Gear or at whenever, before the year ends, she's eventually going to defeat Shida. And she's going to become the Women's Champion. So that is definitely going to happen. Britt Baker for the win here. Then we got announcements for next week. We got Chris Jericho's 30-year anniversary celebration. Actually, before that, MJF and Wardlow were in the hallway. And they walked into the Inner Circle's locker room. And they came in and just said, we just want to congratulate you for your win tonight against Isaiah Cassidy. And I got you a couple gifts as well. And it was Inner Circle jackets. He gave one to Jake Hager, Ortiz, Santana, and Chris Jericho. He did not have one for Sammy Guevara. He said, Sammy, I swear on my mother, I did not forget your jacket on purpose. I will get it as soon as I can. Sammy was kind of shocked. And Jericho's like, what's your point of being here? And he's like, I wanted to give you these gifts. And he's like, look, I appreciate it. The jackets look amazing, but you never answered my question that I asked you a couple months ago. Do you want to join the inner circle? And then MJF is like, do you want me to join the inner circle? Do you want to join the inner circle? Do you want me to join the inner circle? And then Wardlow and Hager got into it face-to-face. Jericho and MJF backed their guys up. And then MJF and Wardlow left. And Sammy Guevara was like, what a... And then Jericho stopped him after he said, what a... And he said... he said, what a loser. And then Jericho stopped him and said, maybe he's not. Uh-oh. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Now, more than likely, I'm wrong here, but more than likely this is leading to a match at Full Gear between Chris Jericho and MJF as something that is going to be absolutely gold. But what I was thinking after this was when Jericho stopped Sammy Guevara and he said, what if he's not? I don't know if you guys got the same thing in his mind, but what if next week the Inner Circle betrays Sammy Guevara, kicks out Sammy, and replaces him with MJF and Wardlow? That could happen. And that could turn Sammy Guevara into a babyface at the same time. So that is very interesting. I bet not a lot of people thought about that. That could very well be the case for Sammy Guevara and MJF. So we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. I'm very interested into seeing what happens. But as for next week, we are getting Serpentico and Luther versus Chris Jericho and Jake Hager in a tag team match. Brian Cage will defend the FTW championship against Will Hobbs. That should be great, and that is going to be a great spotlight showcase for Will Hobbs. And then that dog collar match for the TNT championship. Cody challenging Brodie Lee for the TNT title. We just talked about that for almost 10 minutes in this review tonight. You guys know who I'm picking for that. I'm picking Brodie Lee to retain the TNT championship, and eventually that should be the outcome. So we got Eddie Kingston in the main event coming out with the Lucha Bros and Bryce Rensburg, who was the official in the John Moxley-Eddie Kingston match last week. Kingston was cutting a promo. He said to Bryce Rensburg, I did not tap. Why did you stop the match? He said, we've known each other for a long time, inside and out of wrestling. But Eddie, you know better than anyone. If I see a wrestler in physical harm and I need to stop the match to protect the wrestler, I have to stop the match. So Eddie was like, I don't need you to stop anything for me. And then Eddie was like, get him. And the Lucha Bros surrounded Bryce Rensburg. Moxley came out just in time. He came out to the ring and he said, Johnny boy, you're now here. You got by me last week, and I know you wanted me again tonight, but that's not going to happen because I'm not 100%. I'm like 60%. You're not going to face me. You're not going to defend against Penta or Phoenix. Tonight, you're defending your world title against the Butcher. So, our main event of the evening, was Jon Moxley versus The Butcher. I would not expect in 2020 that the freaking Butcher is getting a shot at the world title. Now, the match was good. For what it was, for this match, I was unexpected. This was a good main event match. Obviously, Jon Moxley retained the World Championship over The Butcher. And he tapped him out with a rear naked choke after he dropped him with a paradigm shift. Not a lift up paradigm shift, but like just a normal DDT. Then he gave him a choke. But now that he got the match out of the way, the match was hard hitting too. Very hard hitting, good stuff. Just like last week. I thought last week was better though. But there are times where mostly AEW does get this right, where it is necessary to put the World Championship up for grabs in a match. Last week's match between Moxley and Eddie Kingston made sense for the World Championship to be on the line because, Eddie Kingston was never eliminated from the Battle Royal. Therefore, he had a right to get a shot for the World Championship. And tonight, we've seen The Butcher get a shot at the World Championship. There are times where you say a World Championship match is necessary, and then there are some times where a World Championship match is unnecessary. This match did not need to be for the championship. This match did not need to be for the championship. It would have been better off non-title. It could have been The Butcher wanting revenge for Eddie Kingston, and he just wanted him to beat Jon Moxley. Tired, man. I don't think it needed to be for the World Championship. It was kind of unnecessary, the fact that it was for the World Championship. And it makes it look ridiculous. It makes people wonder, why is The Butcher getting a World Championship match? I don't think he deserves a world title match. And I got that in my head while watching this. The match was very good, but that's just a thought in my head. I was like, why is The Butcher getting a shot at the World Championship? So that's what I thought. Match was good. Moxley retained. He held the championship up in front of Eddie Kingston. And that was the way Dynamite went off the air. Very good show. I love that first hour. The 3 matches, Darby and Ricky Starks, the tag team title match, and Jericho and Isaiah Cassidy. That was all awesome. The promo and the segment with Cody and Brodie Lee, that was amazing. That was the big talking point in this review. And that's going to wrap up the review here tonight on the channel. I want to thank each and every single one of you who have watched the AEW Dynamite review tonight. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're 2 subscribers away from 220. I know it's not like a big milestone goal, but if we could just get 2 subscribers to 220 subscribers, I would appreciate that. Comment down below. I want to know what you guys thought of tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. Hit that like button if you like what I had to say about tonight's Dynamite review. And I will see you guys tomorrow for a double upload. Yes, you heard me. A double upload here on the Big Fight Field channel. It's going to be a NXT day. NXT exclusive here on the Big Fight Field channel. 2 videos, both NXT content. You're going to get the NXT review, which I'm going to try to get early up in the morning. And the NXT TakeOver preview and predictions with my guest, my buddy Cameron, over on Twitter. Shout out to Cameron. I can't wait to have him on the channel tomorrow night for NXT TakeOver preview and predictions. But folks, I'm getting out of here. I'll see you tomorrow for the NXT review right here on the Big Fight Field channel. Have a good night. Stay safe.